Hello there, hi, assalamu alaikum. This is Amnah here from My English Matters. If you're watching me live, say hello in the comments. Please share this video or give me a love or a like, because today I am going to be talking about phrasal verbs, and I'm going to be sharing 25 more phrasal verbs that you can use at work. Why more? Because a few weeks back, I think it was earlier this year, I can't remember when it was, I shared 25 phrasal verbs that you can use at work, and that Facebook live session, it was quite popular, and I've come back with 25 more phrasal verbs that you can use at work. If you're not familiar with what phrasal verbs are, I'm going to go into more detail shortly. So if you're not familiar with My English Matters, what we do is we help Malaysians and second language learners improve their English through our online courses, our workshops, and these Facebook live sessions for everyone. So say hi to me if you're watching. I'm going to get started straight away. Right, let's see now. Let's go to the first slide. So what are phrasal verbs? A phrasal verb is a combination of words. So it's a verb plus a preposition, or a verb plus adverb, or verb plus adverb plus preposition that when used together usually take on a different meaning to that of the original verb. So this whole sentence is a mouthful, but I'm going to go into detail. I'm going to show you some examples. When we use phrasal verbs, we use them like normal verbs in a sentence. Okay. Hi Nur Emira, hi Nigel, hi Irina, hi Yanti, Nur Aini, Azila, Suharti. So many people here. Thank you for saying hi to me. I know some of you are our students. Intan Payong, Nur Laila, Anis Johari, and some of you are new. So thanks for saying hi to me, keeping me company. Right. So I'm going to show you for some examples. Verb plus adverb, for example, look up. Verb plus preposition, look after. So that's a phrasal verb. Verb plus adverb plus preposition, look forward to, which is also a phrasal verb. So the whole phrase acts as a verb and has a different meaning to the original verb. So for example, look up, look after, and look forward to do not mean the same as look, right? So look means in Malay, tengok, to see something, right? To look at something. Look up means to look up the meaning of something. So maybe you want to look up the meaning of a certain word, you would look up the meaning of it. Look after. Look after means to take care of someone, to take care of something. Look forward to, what that means is you are anticipating something, you are looking forward to something, you can't wait for something. So look up, look after, look forward to, they all have different meanings, and they are phrasal verbs because they have a different meaning from the original verb, which is look. Right? I hope that's clear. Hi Dewi, hi Nur Akila, Kay Marshally, hi Khairul, you're new, hi Kayla. Okay, let's go to the examples. So I have 25 phrasal verbs that you can use at work. I have one phrasal verb for every letter of the alphabet, except for the letter X. I could not find a suitable phrasal verb that begins with X. I did find one, but I couldn't find the proper examples. But if you do find a phrasal verb that begins with X, do share them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to see it. So here are 25 phrasal verbs. I'm going to start with A. Number one, which is account for. What does that mean? To be the reason why something exists or happens. Now, bear in mind that one phrasal verb can have more than one meaning. But in this particular Facebook live session, I'm going to only show one meaning for every phrasal verb, and maybe two or one example for each phrasal verb. Right, a number of factors account for the differences between the two scores. So that's what account for means. Here's another example. The increase in carbon dioxide emissions may account for changes in the climate. So account for, what that means is to be the reason why something exists or happens. Next example, Bear with, right? What do you think that means? What do you think bear with means? Bear as in the animal, perhaps? It's actually used as a polite way of asking someone to be patient while you do or finish something. So it's a polite way of saying, if you just bear with me for a few more minutes, we'll have all the paperwork finished. Right? So you can use the phrase bear with to ask someone to be patient while you do something. Number 3, consists of. What does that mean? To be made of particular parts or things. Let's look at the example. Breakfast consisted of bread and a cup of coffee. Another example, my role seemed to consist of standing and smiling at people. Okay, so consist of is what it means is to be made of particular parts or things. I hope that you're taking notes. If you're not, then that's fine. You can watch the replay and take notes. Next one, number 4, deal with. What does deal with mean? Let me just have a drink. What do you think deal with means? To take action to do something, especially to solve a problem. The government must now deal with a problem of high unemployment. So to deal with something that needs to be solved. I spent the morning dealing with my emails. Okay, that's what deal with means. Next one. Oh, sorry. I accidentally clicked on something. All right. End up. To be in a particular place or state after doing something or because of doing it. We hear a lot of Malaysians say end up, but the correct way to use it is like keep on doing that and you'll end up in serious trouble. You'll just end up with more problems to fix down the road. So end up is to be in a particular place or state after doing something. Next example, factor in. What does that mean? To include a particular amount or factor when you calculate something. Total spending was virtually the same after factoring in inflation. All right. Next one, gloss over. What does gloss over mean? To ignore or avoid unpleasant facts. For example, he could no longer gloss over his failures. Number 8, hold off. So there are quite a number of meanings for hold off, but I'll just show you this one. To deliberately delay doing something. He may decide to hold off for a few days. She held off calling him until the last possible moment. Right. Number 9, indulge in. Okay, indulge in. To become involved in something, especially something that is considered wrong or improper. Both candidates have promised not to indulge in further personal attacks for the remainder of the campaign. So indulging in something could be considered wrong or improper. That's how you use it. You could say indulge in a positive way, but usually indulge in, that phrasal verb, is something that's considered wrong or improper. Next one, jot down. Okay, this one is I'm sure this is quite common among you guys. Do you know what jot down means? To write something in a quick, informal way. Carry a small notepad in your pocket and jot down your observations. Irina asks, end up, is it used for negative results? Not necessarily. It could be for positive as well, or neutral. It's not necessarily that it has to be just negative, even though my example was negative. Like, I didn't know how I ended up here, or something like that. That's a neutral. Or I don't know how I ended up in this place. That's a neutral statement, right? So it could be neutral, could be positive. It could also be negative. Next one. Kick off. What does that mean? Kick off sounds like something that where you start a football match or something, right? But you can also use that as a phrasal verb to mean to begin or to begin something. I'd like to kick off with a quick look at last month's sales figures. Or perhaps you work at a school, you're a teacher. We are kicking off the event with a student performance. Number 12, lay off. Lay off. There are several meanings for lay off as well, but for this one, I'm going to talk about this one. To end someone's employment, especially temporarily, because there is not enough work for them. They've had to cut back production and lay off workers. All right? It's not a pleasant situation, but that's the word for it. I can see many of you saying hi to me. I'm just smiling at it. All right, number 13, markup. What does markup mean? A lot of Malaysians use this. I've heard this used by many Malaysians. We use it as part of our Malay, when we speak Malay, we say markup, markup. But the correct pronunciation in British is markup, or American markup, where the R is pronounced. So markup of a retailer to add a certain amount to the cost of goods to cover overhead and profit. For example, she marks up priced garments by at least 50%. There's also the other word, a markdown. So markdown, what that means is you lower the price. So there's markup and there's markdown. Number 14, nail down. To definitely decide, arrange, or complete something. Nail down. Example, they're on the verge of getting the agreement nailed down. Right, so nailed down, to definitely decide, arrange, or complete something. Number 15, opt out. To decide not to take part in something or to stop taking part in it. The firm opted out of the company car scheme last year. If you opt out before December 1st, your deposit will be refunded. So opt out. So saying that you want to opt out of something. You don't want to be part of something anymore. Number 16, point out. Point out. To tell someone something. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. So imagine that you are presenting in front of a group of people and somebody in your audience points out something. Maybe they point out a mistake on your slides. You could say, thank you for pointing that out. Or he pointed out that we had 2 hours of free time before dinner. So pointing out is usually when you tell someone that that person may not realize. Queue up. To wait for something in a queue. The usual American word is line up. There was a long line of fans queuing up for tickets. Okay, so there was a long line of fans queuing up for tickets. In American, they would say line up. So there was a long line of fans lining up for tickets. Number 18, ramp up. Oh, sorry, my son is here. All right, what do you want? Okay, take it. All right. Can you close the door? Thank you. That's what working from home is like, right? Your kids come in. I tried to ignore him for a few minutes, but I couldn't. Okay, ramp up, number 18. I should have locked the door, right? But I don't usually lock the door because they'll end up knocking on it throughout the whole live session, so I didn't lock the door. Anyway, number 18, ramp up. To increase something such as a rate or level, especially the rate at which goods are produced. Operations quickly ramped up. All right. We've had to ramp up production to meet demand. Yes, increasing it. Number 19, settle for. So settle for, what that means is to accept someone or something that is not exactly what you wanted because you cannot have what you wanted. Injuries and illness forced the team to settle for third place. Why settle for second best when you can have something better? So settle for. When you have something that you want but you can't get it, so you settle for the next best thing, something like that. Number 20, think over. So you're not just thinking, but you're thinking over. What does that mean? To consider a problem or decision carefully. Example, let's think over his proposal before we see him again. So you want to think over something. You're not just thinking about it, but you're thinking over. So you're thinking over his proposal before you make a decision. So you need to think over something. Next one, use up. What does use up mean? To use all of a supply of something. For example, I've used up all my annual leave entitlement and it's only March. Okay, that's what that means. So you've used up something. I've used up all the paper for the printer. Another example. Number 22, vouch for. What does vouch for mean? To assert or confirm as a result of one's own experience that something is true or accurately so described. The explosive used is of my own formulation and I can vouch for its efficiency. So vouch means is that you could say that you are guaranteeing something. So I want to guarantee that this explosive works. It's sort of the same thing, same concept of guaranteeing or vouching for. Somebody asked, are these idioms? Phrasal verbs, some phrasal verbs can be idioms, yes, right? But not all idioms are phrasal verbs. I have another Facebook Live session that I did, I think earlier this year, about idioms as well. So some phrasal verbs can be idioms, some are not. It really depends. Wind up. What does that mean? To end something. Okay, so I'm going to wind up this Facebook Live session soon because we're at number 23 now. So I'd like to wind up the meeting soon. Wind up. There's another meaning for wind up. There's several. Another meaning is that you make someone angry. Like, don't wind her up. You don't want to see her angry or something like that. Or it could also mean winding up, like a clock or winding up something. Number 24, yield up. To finally allow people to see something that has been hidden. This latest dig has yielded up over 100 pieces of fine Roman silverware. Right, so that's what yield up means. It reveals something that has been hidden, that people didn't see before this. So yield up. And the last one is zoom in on. Zoom in on, to focus on or examine closely. The moderator got the panelists to zoom in on the healthcare issue. So the moderator wanted the panelists to focus on the healthcare issue. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Now, I just went through 25 phrasal verbs with you all, as well as the meaning and the examples. But what I want you to do is, this is your homework. You don't have to do it. It's not compulsory. But if you want to learn more, choose 3 to 5 phrasal verbs that you tell yourself that, okay, I'm going to use these 3 phrasal verbs starting today at work. I'm going to start using them. Choose 3 or 5 only, right? But before you do that, search for 3 example sentences for each phrasal verb so that you can see how they're used in context. Because we know that as second language learners, we know the meaning of a particular phrasal verb or a particular word, but we may not know how to use it correctly. So I think it's just as important for you to know the meaning of the phrasal verb and to see how it's used in sentences, at least 3 sentences, okay? So that you know that you're using it correctly. So you not only know the meaning, but you're using it correctly at work. All right? Because phrasal verbs is part of learning, expanding your vocabulary. It will help you to be able to express yourself more fluently and confidently as well, right? Because English language, there are a lot of phrasal verbs, so not just 25 phrasal verbs. Start using them at work or in your daily conversations. Start using them, okay? Once you know how to use it properly. And then number 4, just continue reading, listening, and speaking in English to learn even more phrasal verbs. So yeah, that's all from me for today. Make sure that you join our email list and get our weekly tips. So once you go to myenglishmatters.com, you can key in your name and your email address. We will send you 7 tips to help you speak with confidence, and 7 videos to your email. And after that, we send you emails every Thursday to help you improve your English, which they're all free, so don't worry. Let me see, do we have any questions? Hi, madam, can you give an example of using yield up for work related? Okay, let me see if I can find another example of yield up sentences. The soldiers obliged us to yield up all our money. Okay, that's not related to work. Let me see. Maybe Aisha, can you look up for sentences for yield up that's more related to work? Let's see. Any other questions? Can we use dealing with to explain current situation? Dealing with to explain current situation. What do you mean by that? I think, yeah, you can. If you were talking about something that is continuous, like I'm currently dealing with the problem with our vendors. Yeah, you can use it. Another one. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Here's an example of yield up. Something asking law firms to yield up their deepest secrets. So to reveal. So you could use that to mean reveal. Any other questions? I don't think I can see any other questions. If not, thank you for joining me. Hi, everyone. I can see everyone saying hi. And we will be back next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. for our Facebook Live sessions. We took a break last week, but we're back this week and the following week, which is next week. So thanks for joining me. It was fun. I hope you learned something today. You can watch the replay later. If you're watching the replay, hi. We will also send this video to you guys if you are in our email list this Thursday. So thanks so much for joining me, and Assalamu alaikum.